In any conflict, knowledge is power. Being able to communicate effectively and secretly with allies is always a challenge, and codes, ciphers, and code breakers have played a vital role in every conflict in history. It's unsurprising to know, therefore, that during World War II, some of the greatest minds of a generation were engaged in cracking the codes of enemy communications being transmitted around the world. But it's the lasting legacy of some of this work that is surprising. This is Bletchley Park in the centre of England. Today, it's open to the public and is very popular with visitors. But during the Second World War, this was one of the most secretive places in the country, and the base of the government code and cipher school.
The people who worked here broadly came from virtually everywhere. But more specifically, many of them came from the major universities. They had them on standby, and the idea was that they would come in for courses and that sort of thing. One of the earliest people approached will have been Alan Turing, who was freshly back from the USA, where he just spent 2 years at Princeton University. And the courses would generally be timed for the university vacations, so then they could still do their university work, but train as potential code breakers.
This is the Enigma machine, the most famous wartime cipher machine in history. Using mechanical wheel settings to encrypt messages that were then sent via Morse code, the machine was first developed in Germany at the end of the First World War. At Bletchley Park, mathematicians Alan Turing and Gordon Welchman developed the bomb. This electromechanical device enabled the testing of all the possible settings of the Enigma machine to be done mechanically, in high volumes and quickly. By 1941, there were rooms full of these machines, standing nearly 2 meters tall and 2 meters wide.
And whilst Alan Turing was the man who was an absolute genius in coming up with the technical ideas, it was Gordon Welchman who said we need to mechanize not just that bit, but the whole process overall, and have a complete production line for intelligence. And so Typex was designed. It was a bigger machine. It was a better machine than Enigma. It had 5 rotor wheels. Enigma only had 3. It could produce a paper tape from the side, far easier to use. And so they took these Typex machines and they effectively reverse engineered them, and they made them as clones of Enigma. So having got the settings, the next machine you use now is the Typex machine to effectively type the message out. You put in the gobbledygook, and the tape on the side produces the German.
The deciphered messages were sent between huts at Bletchley for translation and analysis, and then turned into intelligence reports. For security reasons, the huts were only known by their numbers, and no one spoke of the work they were doing inside their hut.
The conditions here were, by modern office standards, rudimentary. I think there was a high degree of camaraderie. Lots of friends were made, but at the same time, overall and overriding was security. So your best friend could work in the next door office to you, but you wouldn't dream of talking to him or her about what they were doing.